There we go. A very warm welcome back to AFC Newsday this Tuesday lunchtime. It's brilliant to be back here. We're here to preview Arsenal's big game at the City Ground tonight. They travel to Nottingham Forest to play them in the Premier League. 7:30 kickoff. We can't wait for it. We're going to preview it here on AFC Newsday. So before we start, please make sure to subscribe. Welcoming my right hand man to the stage, Matt joins us as well. Matt, welcome back. We're back on the grind. We're back on the AFC Newsday grind. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, really good. Great to be doing it. Great to be on the grind, as you say. How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm well, thank you. I'm well, thank you. Have you had a haircut, Matt? You look like you had a haircut.
Oh, I wonder where that one's come from. No, I literally just said before we started that it looks like I've had a haircut and I haven't. So there's that. But soon probably.
No, fair enough, mate. But yeah, Arsenal travelling to Nottingham Forest tonight in the Premier League. Match day preview. Not often we can say that, but we've got a match day preview. If let us know below in the comments if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, how you're feeling ahead of tonight's game. Want to hear from you. Want to know what your thoughts are. It's a big game for Arsenal. It feels like we haven't had a game in ages, Matt, doesn't it? It feels like we've. When was the last time we watched Arsenal play? It's been ages, hasn't it?
It was what, Palace at home, then it was Liverpool at home, and then it was Fulham away. Because we had Fulham away, which was horrid, and then we had a
Hmm.
big break until Liverpool at home, which didn't really help things, although we played pretty well. And then we had Palace at home, which wasn't the best performance, but then turned it on second half and took advantage of them.
Hmm.
So can't complain, but yeah, it has been quite a while. It's been a bit of a weird gap with the whole winter break the Premier League have done this year. Bit different to previous years, different to other leagues as well. Having 5 teams play 1 week, 10 teams play 1 week, 10 teams play the next week, so they all get an equal break. But pretty uncanny, and it makes it pretty interesting. But now that we're pretty much out of January, there'll be a lot more games coming thick and fast.
Definitely, mate. I mean, there's a few Premier League matches tonight. You've got obviously Forest Arsenal, you've got Fulham Everton, Luton Brighton, Crystal Palace Sheffield United, and Aston Villa Newcastle. So they're all staggered kickoffs as well, apart from Fulham Everton, Luton Brighton, they're at 7:45. But there's 7:30, 7:45, 7:45, 8 o'clock, 8:15. So interesting kickoff times there. Looking at the Premier League table so far, it's still quite tight in and around the top of the table. You've got Man City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa all on the same amount of points. City has still got that game in hand, and then you've got Liverpool leading the pack on 48 points. Tottenham just outside the top four on 40 points, and then obviously Arsenal, Man City, Villa all on 43. A bit of a gap then to West Ham in sixth on 35. So, a chance to try and restart some momentum tonight, Matt. Don't you think? Especially with it was a great win for Arsenal against Crystal Palace. A very poor Palace side it was, but definitely some goals were needed, which they got from open play as well. And to really kickstart this next stage of the season.
I just wanted a Gabriel hat trick, to be honest. His
Yeah,
second
yeah.
goal got credited at least, which is good. Nice praise for
He's
him,
been
but
awarded the goal now, hasn't he? He's been awarded the goal now, hasn't he?
which was confusing
Yeah,
in itself because it looked
yeah.
like it was going in anyways. But anyways, we digress. With how Arsenal are, with any team who wants to challenge for the title and be right up there at the end of the season, let alone win it, because I don't think you can ever say an aim, unless if you're pretty much City, because you're the monopoly, which has caused everyone to fear the Premier League every season.
Yeah.
But unless if you're the leading pack, you can't ever really be like, oh, we have to win the league or anything, because you have the likes of City in it, as well as obviously a very good league aside from it, or at least high up. But with how many points we've already dropped, obviously that week with Fulham and West Ham was pretty detrimental.
Mm.
The Fulham home game was a bit of a painful one. Obviously, Spurs home we dropped points in. Liverpool away we got a point, which is a good result. But those are just some of the games, along quite a few others that we've dropped points in, and we're only in January, and it's just important to get a run together, get continuity, get that momentum, and put any of the drop points behind us. Because at the end of the day, it might sound, it gets a bit intimidating almost that you have to win every game, but that's how it is. Every game you
Mm.
go into, you expect to win, and that's how it is. And it's up to us to just put a really dismal record at the City ground behind us, go there, deserve to win the game, and go on a run, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, because last season at the end of the campaign, it was a horrible trip to the City Ground, and you've got that FA Cup match as well, which was awful, really tough.
Under Wenger too, it's not been fun for Forest recently.
The record at the City Ground's been awful, but let's talk team news for a second. If you're looking at Forest team news, Forest trio, Taiwo Awoniyi, Anthony Elanga, and Felipe are all back in training, but this game could come too soon for them to feature. And there's several players at the African Cup of Nations, while Loney Nuno Tavares, of course, is ineligible to play in this game against his parent club. Declan Rice could return from a tight hamstring that prompted his substitution against Crystal Palace. You really don't want to aggravate any kind of injury with Declan Rice, do you?
No chance.
Gabriel, who came off in the same game, will also be assessed, but Thomas Partey remains out with injury. So, it's hopefully there should be Declan Rice if he can come back in. You don't want to put him at risk of aggravating an injury and being out for a certain amount of time, do you, Matt? But he is a key player that would be severely missed if Arsenal didn't have him in there.
The problem is with Rice is particularly the party's supposedly still not fit. It kind of becomes a point where he has to be fit, Rice, because we can't really. I don't want to play Jorginho on his own because
No,
Jorginho thrives when he's in a pivot or when he can play off someone.
when you've
Having
got
that
some
Declan
support.
Rice, yeah, having that Declan Rice to cover off him. It's when he's played alongside Granit Xhaka, that's been the case. Newcastle away, City at home, etc., etc. And when Jorginho's played as a lone six without anyone, I've just not felt as at ease, particularly with that Spurs game, obviously, which wasn't great. And at the same time, though, we do have Liverpool at home on the weekend, which is quite the game.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a tough one. Yeah, but I mean, two tough games, and I'm just glad to have the Premier League back. I know that having games, body clock being all over the place, games on a Tuesday night and stuff like that are Premier League matches. It's just a bit confusing. But if we're looking at the head-to-head stats, Nottingham Forest are looking for a fourth consecutive home win over Arsenal in all competitions. That's shameful. That really is shameful. Arsenal's last win at Forest was in the Premier League in January 1999, when Martin Keown's goal gave them a 1-0 victory. They'll be looking to change that record tonight. However, the Gunners have won 5 of the past 6 top flight meetings. So, I mean, a few records there, Matt, that a victory tonight would just put to the side, and we can forget about that now. We've won away at Forest.
I mean, I think if we drop points tonight, then it's genuinely turned into a bogey ground, which I think is quite amusing because there's just no reason for that to be the case. And if we do win, then I think all the stats are completely meaningless, just like the Luton away almost. Obviously, Forest, we've played more, but the context of all these games, that cup game was a shambles, to be fair.
Yeah.
The one under Wenger wasn't fun either. And then the league game last season, I don't really take anything from it because...
No, I think that was one of the first games we had Thomas Partey at the right-back experiment as well, which was...
White centre back. We had Erdegaard give
Yeah.
away the ball for the goal, which he rarely does, and that's what led to that. And we couldn't score to save our lives. It is what it is.
No. Big shout out to everyone that's tuned in so far. I really appreciate you being here. If you want to drop us a follow at AFC Newsday, we'd really appreciate you sticking around. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Big shout out to everyone that's shared the post. Shout out to James as well. He's given us a cheeky little shout out as well. Sam's in the chat. He said, lads, I'll set you up again quite nicely. What's your starting 11 for tomorrow? So, I mean, we spoke about team news there. So the main team news, if you missed it, Declan Rice hopefully coming back from a tight hamstring. Gabriel's going to be assessed, and no Thomas Partey still. So if we're going in goal, Matt, let's say it's going to be David Raya in goal.
Yeah, for sure. And, as much as I like Ramsdale and stuff, and I think, Ramsdale got quite hard done by. At the end of the day, Ray has been really good recently, and that's all I want. I don't want, I don't care about debates or winning the argument, all that stuff. I just want Raya to be really good and or whoever's in number one for Arsenal.
I mean, it was really effective in that Palace game with the kickstart and the counter attack. Really nice throw out to Gabriel Jesus, wasn't he? And then a nice move in the end that was finished.
Precisely.
Excuse me.
And he just looked really comfy, baited the press a few times, and just in general, he's looked a lot better recently, and that's all we can ask of him, and hope he continues that form. So definitely him starting.
Absolutely. Oh, didn't mean to press that again. Sorry. Then if you're going to right back, then it's going to be Ben White. We hope he's looked a lot better in the last the last game against Crystal Palace I thought. So
Yeah,
Ben White at right back, really solid there. Looking forward to when Tomiyasu does come back though, so you've got a few more options, and there's not as much pressure on some players. If he's fit, Gabriel and Saliba as the centre back pairing. Gabriel's going to be assessed, so we'll wait and see what happens there. But no arguments really there. And then Matt, of course, with the left back, you've got the option of Zinchenko, Jakub Kivior. Is there any side you're leaning towards in particular?
definitely Zinchenko. I think
Mm-hmm.
the thing is for me, I was gonna say I wouldn't be opposed to playing Kivior with Saliba if Gabriel is injured,
Mm,
like serious, injured to where it's a risk for him with the Liverpool game, especially because at the end of the day, he's played as a left back a lot of the time. He's a lot better as a left centre back. He came in as a right centre back last season and was really really good. So
mm,
that central or that left centre back area clearly suits him best, and I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that at all for that one game, and that's what you hope your depth players can be good for. And unfortunately, obviously injuries and stuff has meant that, or how good Gabriel was as well, was meant that he's not been able to play. But yeah, left
yeah.
back wise, I think it has to be Zinchenko really, particularly if someone like Alanga isn't playing.
Mm.
Like the dangerous Forest attack. I mean, I feel like they've been trying to sign a whole new attack before they play us, but they haven't succeeded. They got linked with
Well, I
what,
mean,
Gio Reyna,
mm,
Carlos Borges. They got linked with someone yesterday, I think. I can't remember who. So that no, not Ben Rama, Cornet. That's it. But
Cornet.
haven't managed to
Okay.
get any of those in time. That's for sure. So you'd expect it to be what Woods, maybe one of the players who, as you say, might be back in training, like a Langa. But generally speaking, they might play like Danilo in the 10 or something like that. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you've got Taiwo Awoniyi as well, the striker who's going to be back in training. Felipe and Alanga are the other two. But they say this game could come too soon for them. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. And also, not to stray too much away from our team, but of course, Nuno Espirito Santo, now the manager at Nottingham Forest, taking over from Steve Cooper. So yeah, a familiar face back in the Premier League. So our back four, we've said there. In midfield, we're going to go for Declan Rice as
are
the
you in
holding if he's
agreement
fit.
with Zinchenko, by the way?
Yeah. No, sorry. Yes, I am in agreement with Zinchenko. Um, Holding midfielder, Declan Rice. And do you know what? For a game like this, I think I'd go for a midfield of Declan Rice and Jorginho personally. That's what I'm going to throw out there. I don't know if he'll go with that, but just to add a bit more solidity and balance, I think the two of them have. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I don't really mind. I
Mm,
don't. I don't really want to see Havertz as in midfield again. I get if he does because obviously the physical
mm,
presence he offers, etc. But I think Jorginho could be a very nice option.
mm.
Potentially Emo off the bench. Arteta made some very nice comments about him.
Yeah, he did.
So hopefully, Emil gets his chance, of course. But yeah, Jorginho Rice, as you say, they've been really, really good together when they've played. Liverpool at home was one of those games recently when we
Mm.
played very well, even though we didn't win. And presuming Rice is fit, that is, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then just ahead of him, Martin Odegaard. No
Absolutely.
complaints there. And then right side, Bukayo Saka. Left side, Gabriel Martinelli. And up front, if he's fit, Gabriel Jesus. Because there were a few whispers, weren't there, that he'd not been in training or something. But I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be fit.
Yeah, hard to say, really. I feel like I saw something. No, there was something, I think, for the. Wasn't that before the Palace game, though? The people were saying he wasn't fit. I
I'm
might be
gonna have
wrong.
a.
Can't remember. I
There's
feel
no
like I haven't
pictures.
seen that in a while, but I
There's
don't
no
know.
pictures online I can see of him in training. So but we'll wait and see. If not Gabriel Jesus, then I'd prefer Leandro Trossard up front to Eddie Nketiah
I'll probably play
personally.
Havertz to be fair, but then Trossard,
Maybe,
like
yeah.
I'm happy for him to play as don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's our 11 there. We go for Raya in goal, Ben White, Gabriel Williams Saliba, Zinchenko, Declan Rice, Jorginho, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Martinelli.
We
Do
spent an
comment you
impressive amount of time, by the way, discussing that because it's basically the same team every game when they're fit.
pretty much. Yeah,
So
yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Do comment your 11s down below as well if you agree with us or if you don't agree with us. Arsenal have gone 3 Premier League away matches without a win, while there are only 2 wins in the last 7 on the road. Both came courtesy of late goals, 2 draws and 3 defeats. So they'll be looking to change that tonight in this game. It's a tough place to go, but I'm confident, Matt. I think the Palace game was a real confidence booster for the side, and I'm pretty confident that Arsenal can go there tonight and secure a solid win, and start getting some momentum and wins back in the legs, kind of thing. But second half of the season, we've had the little wobble from Arsenal, and now it's time to push on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we're playing Forest at a very nice time. Obviously, we mentioned their injuries, but you've got
Mm.
AFCON, which they're quite badly affected by. I think
Yeah.
you've got Bollies at Forest, and yeah, Sangare, um, where they just won on penalties. I don't know if you've been following AFCON, by the way, just a quick
I've been
one.
watching a bit of it. Yeah. I didn't watch the other night on Sunday night because I was watching the American football, because that was brilliant, by the way. But I did follow a little bit of it online. But yeah, no, AFCON's been a great tournament, always is.
Yeah, very, very good entertainment. Great to see, But yeah, on the Forest side of things, they've got quite a few absentees from AFCON. Those two Ivorians in itself. I'm sure there's quite a few others. There's Ola Aina, I think he's
Mm.
Nigerian. So yeah, they've got quite a few important absences. And then you've also got Gibbs White, who had an abdominal injury. I don't think he'll be back fit for this game.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything on the latest. Maybe there is, maybe I'm wrong. But you've got Alanga, who you said is just coming back to training. You've got obviously
Hmm.
Chris Wood in very good form.
Yeah.
So even if Awoniyi was to be fit, he'd probably be on the bench. And then as I say, they'll probably play Danilo in that 10 role, and probably Hudson-Odoi, I'd imagine, off the left or right. And then, yeah, just in general, it's it doesn't matter who you're playing, really. It's nice just to play them at a good time, play them
Mm.
when they do have the injuries or when they do have the absentees, because it makes notoriously tough away games, or generally every game in the Premier League away is tough. It
Yeah.
makes it easier for yourselves. So hopefully, and I mean, there's no reason we shouldn't do the job comfortably, and as you say, build on that Palace victory.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Sam's just pointing out that article from the Standard saying Declan Rice is expected to come back from his little hamstring injury for the game tonight. I think there are a few reports saying that, and it's good news that he's back. And man, I know. I mean, let's talk about it, because Thomas Partey's been back this week, and there's been a big thing made of him. And um, no matter what people say about him, him being back in the side is a boost for Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I was just trying to check thingy news, see if there was anything latest on Alanga or Gibbs White or anything. But you said Party, right? Just to check.
Yeah, Thomas Partey. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's it's one of them where people often do hypotheticals or whatever about if he was fit this, if he was fit that.
Hmm.
It's a bit infuriating how little he is fit. Um,
Yeah.
Particularly, we're in the end of January. People said he'd be back for Luton away, even, or Liverpool at home in the
Yeah.
cup, etc., etc. And we're about to hit February, and he's supposedly not even ready to make the bench, which is quite infuriating. Obviously, with Arsenal there, the central progression is massive, alongside Declan Rice, which we've only seen once or twice in that midfield
Yeah.
together, is massive, and that will be huge for the team. And a Rice Party Odegaard midfield on paper is ridiculously good, and we saw how good he
Yeah.
was alongside Granit Xhaka last season. But at the end of the day, your quality becomes a bit void if you're not fit 99% of the time.
Mm.
So I don't really get excited or hurt when I see he's injured or when I see he's fit, because I just wait.
Doesn't
I wanted
surprise
to
you
see
anymore.
him be fit and
Yeah.
hope he is fit like you expect. And if he's injured, then I'm not particularly nice. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I know the boat sailed, but man, I would have loved just to keep Granit Xhaka this season. The way he's playing at Leverkusen, and to have him next to Declan Rice in midfield, the two of them would just be sensational. But the boat sailed. You can dream all you like; it's not going to happen. Great to see Granit Xhaka doing well there over in Germany, and by Leverkusen in general are absolutely flying at the moment. So huge
They're
respect to
hitting
them. And
a small wobble, to be fair, a bit off topic, but they drew to Gladbach on the weekend, and then
even for their
now
standards,
they
so this
won last
season's been
weekend. But
sensational.
when I say a wobble, by the way, I don't mean any kind of like bad wobble. I just mean that it's becoming a bit more difficult.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
see,
yeah. But
see how they
even for their
go.
standards, so they're having a ridiculous season. Matt, let's talk about these Arteta comments, because um, there was in the week on Sunday night we had these comments come out, this report come out saying that, oh, Mikel Arteta has informed all of his staff that he's leaving in the summer. This is his final season, and he's off to ventures new, to whatever he's off to do. And I don't know about you, and if you're watching and you reacted in a specific way, then comment down below, let us know how you did react. But when I saw this report, I looked at it, and not one bit of me, not one bead of sweat down my brow, not one, my heart did not drop for a second. I looked at it, had a little giggle, put my phone back down, and then carried on watching the NFL. There's honestly not a single part of me was worried reading that story, having a look at who the source was. The guy that wrote it had, a fairly small Twitter account. Not to, that really means anything, but the source wasn't a well-known, respected source at all from what I could tell. And the report didn't even say what the title of the story said. It was just a complete nothing story, but the rest of football Twitter just kind of picked it up and ran with it, really, didn't they?
Being a journalist must be a fantastic life. All you got to do is tweet what you feel like, and people will believe you. Honestly, like I don't mean to be disrespectful, right? And I get more so non-Arsenal fans. I get it more because you're a bit less clued up. You don't know if something's happened, etc. And in general, you're not as well averse on Arsenal as an Arsenal fan. That's fair enough. But Arsenal fans, man, why was I seeing people losing their heads on a random, what was it, Sunday evening? And like the timing
Sunday,
as well. The timing as well. Literally, Xavi announces a few days before. I couldn't believe my eyes that people were taking it so seriously and having a meltdown. Because the last I saw was I can't remember what account was it, saying that Arteta was close to signing a new contract. And the next thing I know, I saw Sport saying, yeah, he's told his entourage he's leaving. No, as you say, just looked at your phone, had a giggle, and that was just funny.
Yeah,
man.
And he reacted really strongly as well, didn't he, Matt? In his press conference after.
He was a bit insulted to be linked to Barcelona. To be fair, now obviously, the Barca link in general, long term makes sense, and that's fair enough. But in the short term, there's just honestly entertaining that you're wasting your time. But yeah, he did entertain that very harshly, or didn't entertain that at all. Sorry, but he did respond to that very harshly. I think he said he was quite upset. A few other things as well. Obviously, Arteta words I don't take as gospel because I know how he is. But with that situation, it was pretty obvious he was going to deny it for one. For two, strongly deny it. And yeah, just a really, really funny one, to be honest.
Yeah, I found it interesting because he actually, I think what a lot of people don't realise is that a lot of people get shown these articles and stuff, and it happens from levels all around. And, the job of a press officer is to prep the manager on what the talking points are, what they're going to be, what the questions they're likely to be asked are. And, Arteta, by the sounds of it, was shown this article to look through it. And man, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he was shown that, just to see his reaction to what it said. And yeah, it was just a shameful bit of journalism. I mean, that's not proper journalism, Matt. I know you're a student and you're learning, but don't take that as proper journalism at all, or anyone watching, because it's just, that was clickbait. That's what it is, Matt. That's clickbait.
I think the funniest thing is as well, though, and this is no disrespect to the journalist at all, but in terms of reliability, people saw Sport and just ran with it, let alone their reputation in general and who they're linked with. Like, I think the biggest thing, slightly off topic, slightly on topic, with journalism or what's being posted, you got to understand where it's coming from. Is it a club brief? Is it someone who's been asked to, because everything has a purpose. So every time an article gets posted, it's because the club wants them to post it, or the player wants them to post it, or the agent's trying to get them a new deal. There's always an incentive behind it. So, for example, even when David Ornstein posted that we wanted Yuri Timber and we bid, that wasn't for a laugh that he suddenly found out and just tweeted about it.
No, he's been told.
We clearly wanted to force the hand of it. So yeah, it's just important to understand
No,
the
I'd say
perspective.
that's probably
And
more. I don't know. It's probably more from the side of they say, yeah, he goes to the club, says, "Are you interested in this player?" And they say yes or no, and give some more information and context because it's David Ornstein. But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
regardless, yeah, for sure. Matt, let's talk a little bit then. We won't go on for too much longer because I'm sure people are having to go back to their lunch breaks. And again, thank you to everyone tuned in. If you want to stick around, please follow us on AFC Newsday or subscribe to us on YouTube. We'd really appreciate any support if possible. Matt, let's talk about it. Nottingham Forest tonight. Where are the key areas? What do Arsenal need to do? And one of these away games, the City ground's going to be bouncing, I'm sure. It's one of these matches where you want to see Arsenal go and do a job, execute it, and then come out with the 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. As I don't. I think I said this for one of our other previous games. It's not really for us fans, at least. There's not really too many talking points. I don't think it's more
Mm,
so about us doing a professional job, staying clued up, staying switched on, not letting in easy chances, taking our chances, somewhat in the other box, creating the chances, dominate, making sure that we start the game well. We don't give them life. We don't get the crowd roaring after a few minutes. We quieten
mm,
them down. We start creating chances. We steadily get better and better and better in the game. And at the end of the day, you just don't give signs because
yeah.
Forest away is a tough away game, but so is every away game in the Premier League. So, and I know that's cliche, but there just isn't. They're all the same type of kettle of fish in the sense of the fans will be on your back. I know, especially their atmosphere is great, and obviously it's a bit of a bogey team, so to speak,
Mm,
or bogey away game potentially, or ground. But at the end of the day, we just got to do our job, control the midfield, box them in really.
mm,
I mean, in terms of when you say key battles, will all depend on who they do have fit. If Gibbs
yeah.
White is fit, for example, I don't know. I just remember seeing you hadn't
I've
had it.
got some more. I've got some more detailed team news, Matt, actually here, which I will just quickly let everyone know about. Afcon's affected Forest hard with Ibrahim's Sanger, Willy Bolly, Serge Aurier, Musa Niakate, Chekiate, and Olu Aina.
Yeah,
Still at the tournament, whilst Nuno Tavares, of course, unable to play against his parent club. Morgan Gibbs-White gave Forest fans a scare when he missed a Blackpool game with an abdominal injury, but it's hoped he will recover in time. And the same for Anthony Elanga, who sat out the time with a thigh problem. Taiwo Awoniyi has been out since November with a groin injury, but he's back in training. However, Divock Origi has been missing since Boxing Day, whilst Felipe could be in the squad. So, a bit more detailed stuff there.
so then, yeah, if Elanga's playing, then it's just about keeping him quiet. But I'm sure Hudson-Odoi will be on the other wing. If Gibbs White's playing, he's a fantastic player. It's about
Brilliant
limiting
player.
him. So yeah, it's just as I say, it depends on who is starting. Because if Gibbs White's starting compared to Danilo in the 10, that makes the world of difference to Forest. Not only balance wise, but
Yeah.
Danilo can go further back, but Gibbs White's a top player as you mentioned. So yeah, what do you think of the key battles?
I think key battles. I don't know because Forest have got so many players, haven't they? Key battles: Forest football team and their financial fair play rules. Yeah, that's a good battle. Yeah, no, they're close to. They're going to be sanctioned, aren't they? It's been announced they're going to be sanctioned, right?
Yeah, I think the Athletic. I can't remember who it was
It's
said it,
some,
but
yeah, no, it's come out officially that them and Everton are set to be sanctioned. So, interesting to see what's going to go on there. And they don't look like they're slowing up with their spending, do they? I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Arsenal. It's given me vibes of Crystal Palace away this season, where you've got to go there, really get a job done, and hopefully come up with a clean sheet and a few goals. I think that would really, reassure Arsenal fans if you come away from that with like a 2-0 victory, something like that, solid to know that just be defensively solid and have that threat up front again, and look more like the Arsenal of when we started the season. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll wait and see with that one. Matt, a score prediction, please, ahead of this one.
I'll go for a 2-0, 2-0 to the Arsenal.
2-0 to the
What
Arsenal.
about you?
You stole my score prediction. I was going to say 2-0. So
You asked me
uh,
first. That's your
yeah,
fault.
no, true. So I'm going to say
Well, now
because you
you're going to
said
be
2-0. Then
edgy and go for like a 3-0 or something.
I'm going to say I'll say 1-0. 1-0
Okay.
to the Arsenal. Good old,
Score,
good old
goal
fashioned
scorer.
goal scorer. Leandro Trossard off the bench.
Ooh. What? So
There you go.
you think? Do you think it'll be quite a cagey one then, and then we win
I
it?
don't know. It could go. It could go either way, but I could see it maybe being a bit of a quieter game, less chances. But there we go. Either
You
way.
just said it'll be an
Um,
exciting one.
Yeah, no, it can be an exciting game, but I
Uh,
don't know, Matt. I don't know what
uh,
I don't know, to be honest. But if you're watching on YouTube, please comment down below what you think the score's going to be. If you're watching on Twitter, then thank you so much for being there. Please make sure to drop us a follow. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back again. We'll be back. Uh, we'll be back next time Arsenal play, which is I'm going to find out for
Liverpool.
you now. Yeah, the Liverpool game at home. We'll be back ahead of that one to do a big preview. Hopefully, get a guest on. That's a Sunday game. Sunday, 4th of Feb. Oh, Matt, if it's a Sunday game, I might try and get myself a cheeky ticket and get down to the Emirates. But
Get on
we'll
it.
wait and see. We'll wait and see, mate. We'll wait and see. Thank you so much, everyone watching. Really appreciate you being there. If you're not already, please subscribe. Come join the movement. We really appreciate any support. Looking to grow the channel, and anyone that does subscribe, like a video, drop a comment. We do really appreciate that, and we'll always reply to you, get in touch, and interact with you. So please do make sure to do that. Make sure to drop us a follow. I've been Dan. He's been Matt. Have a great rest of your day. Of your Tuesday. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully Arsenal can get a win tonight. Matt, take care. Have a good day, mate.
And you, mate.